everybody, this is Dan for GemmyD on Cars. Now, just got off of work. It's 4:30 on a Tuesday. I have a loaner car, and the car that we're talking about today is a 2019 Mazda CX-3. Now, this is Mazda's subcompact SUV. Now, this is the only car by Mazda that I have not driven yet, other than Miata. I would love to get my hands on one of those. Maybe I can hook that up someday. But this is Mazda's cheapest offering, their smallest SUV. There's some good things about this car. I've driven this to work today and took it home last night. There's some good things about it and some things that I'm not too crazy about. And honestly, I think this might be the only car that Mazda offers that is pretty average. Obviously, I'm an owner of a 2016 Mazda 6. I drove the new Mazda 6 with a turbo. I loved it. I drove a CX-5. Loved it. I drove a CX-9. Absolutely loved it. That's my favorite three-row SUV. So just spending some time with this car, it's okay. I'm gonna say it's pretty average. So I think this is the only average offering that Mazda makes. So we're gonna go over the inside and out. We're gonna take this thing out on the road, and we're gonna give it a Gem score. So let's take a look. Now we're going to start this review on the inside. Now, for the record, in case anybody cares, I am an inspector of construction for PennDOT, and we are doing this retaining wall right here. It is 1,500 feet long. That's just a certain section of it. It gets up to 39 feet tall. Then we're going to do some sound barriers on top of that, in case anybody cared. But anyway, we're going to look at the interior of this CX-3, and overall, I think it is nice as far as the materials go. The seats here are like a leatherette, and this leatherette continues on the dash here. It does have some nice stitching. This car does have nice stitching all around, on the doors, on the dash there, and on the seats as well. It's sort of like a nice touch. Now, just like a Mazda 3 that I drove, now this car has a nice sort of like faux carbon fiber finish, and it's around the doors, and it's around sort of the vents too. One cool feature about this car, now, like the Mazda Miata, this car's cousin, it has one circular vent and one sort of rectangular vent, and this sort of mimics the Mazda Miata taillight. The Miata has this same configuration, which looks like its taillight. I will put a picture on the screen, but that's sort of a cool nod to one of the other cars. Now, the materials feel nice in this car. You've got nice sort of leatherette. For 2019, this car comes standard with the heated seats. Now, this is a Touring. This is the middle of the road. The bottom is the Sport, Touring, and then Grand Touring. So this is a Touring model. Now, this car has all-wheel drive. It has a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine with 148 horsepower and also 148 foot-pounds of torque. So we'll definitely test that out when we get it on the road. So that's sort of what this car is about. Now, this car comes standard with a 7-inch screen right here. Now we're going to turn it on. Now, just like my car, everything is controlled here with this click wheel. You've got the home, music, nav. Now, this car does not have the nav system, which is fine. Now, this car is on sale for about $25,000, and I recently reviewed a 2019 Hyundai Veloster, which that car is sort of similar to this car. I mean, this car is a 5-door hatchback. That car is more of like a 3-door, but I think the interior space is pretty similar, and that is one downside to this car. There is not much space in the back seat. The space in the trunk is okay. We'll definitely take a look at that. But this car would compete with the Honda HR-V, the Toyota CR-V, the Hyundai Kona, and the Kia Soul, which I think the Kia Soul might be the best car in this class. It's just sort of quirky and fun. But we're going to talk about one other car at the end of this review. So one of the things that I am not too crazy about in this car is in the instrument cluster. Now, we have a centrally located speedometer right here, but these two screens on either side of the speedometer, I am not crazy about. They just sort of have like, looks like an alarm clock, like digital display. The tachometer is on the left, and it is so small. If you can sort of see that over the glare of my shirt, it's just so small. And over on the right side is all your information about your miles per hour, MPG, and all that other stuff. But I'm not crazy about this tachometer over here being so small. You can barely see it. It's just so small. Now, this has the same sort of looking Mazda doors as my car, and I do really like the round vents. I think that's sort of a nice touch. So overall, I mean, there's no space in the middle here either. You got some space for your coffee, but that's about it. So overall, you can sort of tell that this is sort of the base, car in the range. It doesn't have the digital HVAC controls, which is okay. I really think this would be a nice car for a high school student or a college kid or somebody fresh out of college. You've got the Mazda reliability plus the, sort of distinctive styling that Mazda has. So let's check out the back seat. All right, going into the back seat of the CX-3. Now this is sort of where it gets a little bit tight. Now I had my seat where I have the car, where I would drive, and it is, I've got no space, okay? There's my computer and stuff, and it's pretty tight back here. I do like this leatherette, and you do have sort of the white stitching right here, which was a nice touch. But yeah, there is not much to see back here. No HVAC controls right here. It's pretty tight, so that might be one negative of this car. So I'll show you the trunk now. Alright, so you've got a nice little button right here to open up the trunk. Now the space in the back here is not too bad. There's just some of my stuff here. I'm almost leaving work, but it's not bad. You've got the mats right there that nobody's bought yet. The space is not bad. If you're somebody that doesn't have any kids, I think this could be enough space for you. We do not have a button to put the trunk down, but that's okay. So overall, it's not bad. I think where you're driving in the front seat is the best place to be. If you got stuff in the back seat, it's going to be a little bit tight. But yeah, let's look at the outside of this car a little bit. It does have distinct Mazda styling, and for 2019 the Touring has the 18-inch wheels. There's some black trim on the front there that is standard now too. This car does not have the daytime LEDs. I think that is strictly for the Grand Touring trim. That's just sort of like silver there. You've got the Mazda corporate grille, which I think looks pretty good. I think the side profile looks pretty good of this car because the roof sort of slopes down to right there. That's sort of like the floating roof design that everybody's doing now. But moving around back, yeah, it's definitely Mazda. You got all-wheel drive, Skyactiv technology. Yeah, I think it's an attractive car. I think it's one of the better looking in the class. I think the Kia Soul is sort of funky looking. The CR-V and the HR-V, the Honda, are okay looking, but I like this sort of design line right there. My car has that too. The Mazda RX-8 always had that too. So overall, it's not bad. It looks good in this white. This is the exact same color that my car is. So yeah, Mazda did pretty good on the design. Now, just to wrap up this quick little walk around of the 2019 Mazda CX-3. Now, in my opinion, I think if you're in the market for this car, you should instead look at a Mazda 3 hatchback. That car is absolutely gorgeous. The one thing that I really love about Mazdas is their design is simple and clean, and it looks good. They've got that big sort of gaping corporate grille, which I think it looks pretty good. That car would have way more space in the back. It would have more of a car-like feel, plus the new updated interior is so much better looking. Mazda really, they go for separation between the screen and like the vents like right there. So I don't think a Kia Soul or a Veloster like I just reviewed would be a bad option. I just think keep it in the family and get a Mazda 3 hatchback instead, or maybe even a sedan. I don't know how the space would compare, but I do think this is a solid value for car. This is a little bit more expensive than the Veloster that I drove. That car was about $20,500 and this car is about $25,000. But you do have excellent fuel economy. We're going to test out how it is on the road to drive, which I think will be pretty solid. So a couple little quirks that I'm not crazy about, but overall it's an okay car. I just think it's sort of average. I don't think there's anything particularly standing out about it. It's got solid styling and Mazda design ethos, which I'm a fan of. So let me know what you think. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this 2019 Mazda CX-3. Now we're going to end this video and take this out on the road and see how it is to drive. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram too, at GemmyD on Cars. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. See ya. Alright, going into the back seat of the CX-3. Nope, no we're not. Let's try that again. Alright, going into the back seat of the CX-3.